Don't judge a book by its cover. It's an age-old adage that we've all heard before. But what does it really mean? Well, watch this video to find out some shocking things about Nathan. Chapter 12. Old Shoes. For the past few days, I have been gathering intelligence on Nathan. I learned a lot. I did this by using surveillance, which is another cool thing I learned from Uncle Jake. It means to watch something very closely and take note so that you really understand someone, what they do, and why they do it. Uncle Jake gave me some instructions on how to gather intelligence by using surveillance. He told me to get close, but not too close, to stay at a distance and watch, but to make sure that I was actually doing something and not just standing there watching. So I figured out some good ways to make that happen. When Nathan was playing baseball, I watched him from the jungle gym while doing some sets of pull-ups and other easy exercises. During lunch, I sat 2 tables away, facing him so I could see him but still not stare at him. I would just eat my lunch and watch him out of my peripheral vision. Uncle Jake taught me about peripheral vision. It means that you aren't staring right at something, but you are instead watching it from the sides of your vision. Cool! When we were in the classroom for art or in the library for reading, I would sit a couple of tables away. Again, I would do whatever project or assignment we were supposed to, but I would make sure that I was sitting in such a way that I could see what Nathan was doing. The first day I completely failed. When I got home, Uncle Jake asked me to write down everything I learned about Nathan. So I did. I only wrote, "He talks a lot," and gave it to Uncle Jake. "That's it?" Uncle Jake asked me. "Well, yeah, I guess. That's what I saw." "We already knew he talked a lot. Mission failure," Uncle Jake said with a smile on his face. "Mission failure? No way. I watched him all day." "You watched him, but you didn't see anything," Uncle Jake said. "Okay, now I'm confused. What the heck does that mean?" Uncle Jake looked at me for a few seconds, then said, "It means that you didn't actually gather any intelligence. We are trying to find out everything we can about Nathan. All you figured out is what we already know. You need to look for details. How does he get to school? What kind of shoes does he wear? What kind of socks? What does he eat for lunch? What kind of backpack does he have? And what does he keep in there? How does he get home from school? Find out everything you can." I didn't understand why this was important at all. Who cared about all this stuff? Why is all this stuff important, Uncle Jake? I already know he's a mean kid. I should just fight him and get it over with. Uncle Jake shook his head and then said sharply, "No, Mark, no. That is what we do. We don't go around fighting people just because they're annoying. That is one emotional move. And remember, warriors don't act on emotions. Warriors have to understand why they're fighting. Right now, you don't know. But if you can figure that out, then we can make a logical decision about how to solve this problem. That might mean a fight, but it should really mean something else. Fighting is only a last resort. If all your other solutions have failed, as warriors, we are prepared to fight, but we avoid it if we can." "Okay, Uncle Jake, I get that part, but I sure don't understand what his lunch and shoes and backpack have to do with any of this," I told him. "We need to understand our problem. If we don't fully understand a problem, then we can't solve it in the most efficient way possible. So stop complaining and gather better intelligence tomorrow at school." "Okay, Uncle Jake, I will." So the next few days, I did what Uncle Jake said. Here are some things I figured out about Nathan. Number 1, Nathan has old shoes. In fact, his shoes are so old that there are holes in the soles. And his right shoe actually has a hole in the bottom that goes all the way through to his sock. Number 2, speaking of socks, his are dirty and don't match. They also look like maybe a dog chewed on them. Number 3, Nathan's pants have holes in one knee. And guess what? He only wears one pair of pants. At least in the last 3 days he has. The first day I noticed the hole, the next day I saw the same hole, and the next day as well. When I thought about it more, I realized that Nathan pretty much wore the same pants every single day during the entire school year. Number 4, on top of all that, I also realized that Nathan only has 2 or 3 t-shirts and wears them over and over and over again. Number 5, Uncle Jake asked me what kind of backpack Nathan has. But there was a problem with that one, because Nathan doesn't have a backpack. He carries his stuff in an old plastic grocery bag. And not just his snacks, everything. Number 6, and for snacks, Nathan must not get very hungry during camp because he never brings much to snack on. Over the past 3 days, he only brought a snack one time, and it wasn't much of a snack at all. It was just a plastic bag with some potato chips in it. So after 3 days, I told Uncle Jake all I had learned about Nathan. I told him that he was dirty, didn't eat healthy foods, and was too lazy to even change clothes. Is that what you think, Mark? Uncle Jake asked me. Well, yes, I answered. Of course. If he doesn't want to be dirty, why won't he change clothes? If he isn't lazy, why doesn't he get a backpack to carry his gear around in? And if he wants to eat healthy food, why does he just bring potato chips to school? It all makes perfect sense to me. Maybe he doesn't have money for new clothes. Maybe he can't afford a new backpack. And maybe he doesn't have any healthy food at home so that he can fix himself healthy snacks for the day. Did you ever think about that, Mark? I certainly had not thought about that. No, Uncle Jake, not really. Okay, well, think about it now. Maybe Nathan and his family don't have the money to buy new clothes, get a new backpack, or have good food. You don't know. And if they can't afford good clothes, do you think they can afford a nice house, a car, video games, and TVs, and a big garage with a gym in it, and jiu-jitsu lessons? There is a chance that they can't afford much of anything. And how do you think that would make a person feel? How would it make you feel? Not good, Uncle Jake. That's right, Mark. Not good. That's why we gather intelligence. So we know what the problem is. Maybe Nathan has more problems in his life than just having a big mouth and being annoying. Maybe. I said as I thought about all the nice things I have. Maybe. All right. Well, we will gather some more intelligence soon. Until then, keep your cool. Yes, Uncle Jake, I told him. I will. Uncle Jake walked out of the room, and I changed into my pajamas, my nice, clean pajamas, and I wondered to myself if Nathan even had pajamas. Probably not. Mark said he used surveillance when he was gathering intelligence on Nathan. What does surveillance mean here? That's right, it means to watch something very closely and take note so that you really understand something, what they do and why they do it. This week it's short, only 2 questions. What was Uncle Jake's position on fighting? Does he support or against fighting? Uncle Jake sees fighting as the last resort. Warriors do not engage in emotional move. They have to understand why they're fighting. Until they do, they will look for other solutions before getting into a fight. What do you think? This week we have a language focus to discuss in this chapter. When we talk about people or things, we often need to make it clear who or what we are talking about. For example, the student who only has 2 or 3 t-shirts is also attending the summer camp. Now, without the underlined clause, we wouldn't know who we're talking about, which student.
These are what we call defining relative clause. We use who for people and which for things. Now, take a look at these sentences.
Nathan James, comma, who does not wash his hair, comma, it's also attending the summer camp. Without the underlined clause here, we still know who we're talking about. We're referring to Nathan James. Clauses like these is what we call the non-defining relative clauses, and we use commas to separate from the rest of the sentence. In this chapter, we know another side of Nathan James. He doesn't seem like an average kid like Marc in school. What's your impression on Nathan before gathering intelligence? And what's your impression now after knowing this secret side of him? Comment down below your thoughts. A famous saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Did you also happen to think Nathan was just a mean, annoying kid? Moving on, Marc is going to have to answer to Uncle Jake about competing in jiu-jitsu tournament. He talked to another girl about it. What do you think he'll say? Do you think Marc will join or back out? Stay tuned for the next chapter for the Warrior Kid Read Aloud. Until then, take care.